Steve! Steve!
Yes, Karl.
I've got something I think you're gonna like.
What
buddy
have
boy.
we got?
I've got a brand new cast iron fry pan. Look at that
Let's
baby.
have a look. It's gonna have to be seasoned though.
Oh, seasoned, absolutely.
Got a great size to it.
I thought so.
Yeah, and a great weight for all our purposes.
Definitely, nice weight.
And a good name for it.
Oh, well, nothing but the best for One Chef One Critic.
It must have cost you a pretty penny though.
Actually, I don't know how much it cost. You see, I charged it to your account.
You what?
Yum, 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 yum.
Welcome to One Chef One Critic. I'm Karl Wells, food critic for The Telegram.
And I'm Chef Steve Watson of Central Dairies.
Steve, I'll be honest, I didn't charge the pan to your account, although I thought of it.
Yeah, I know you
Just
would.
kidding,
I
just
know.
kidding.
Yeah.
Anyway, cast iron is an interesting topic because it has to be dealt with a little bit differently from other types of kitchenware.
Absolutely, yeah.
Seasoning. What is seasoning?
So what you would do when you first buy your frying pan, your cast iron frying pan, you would pop it into an oven at about 200 degrees for about 15 minutes just to warm it up. Then you would rub it with some shortening. This will then seal all the holes that are in there. Then you would pop it back into the oven for about another 2 to 3 hours actually. Then essentially what you're making is a non-stick frying pan.
Now this one, I should tell you, I was thinking about you.
Yeah, I know you was, Karl.
I don't want to give you too much work here. This is already seasoned, this
is
pan,
indeed, yeah.
which I picked up at Big Eric's. But anyway, once it's been seasoned and has been used, quite often, it will turn black like this, which I find to be quite attractive. Now, cleaning cast iron, how do we do that?
Okay, what you do, Karl, is just lightly put it under some lukewarm water, and if need be, a little bit of soap in there, or you can put a little bit of salt in there and just rub it around.
Wipe
as
it
well.
out. The salt
Wipe it out.
becomes kind of an abrasive to kind of clean it off.
Yeah, never in a dishwasher.
All good stuff. Coming up on the program today, we have Peter Wilkins. Peter is a Newfoundland artist who has recently exhibited his cutting-edge work in the city of Toronto. He's a man of many interests, actually. He's a foodie, interested in wine as well. And he is a bit of a celebrity in the UK because he was co-host of a television show there, which we'll probably chat about on the show. So lots to learn from him. His base, by the way, is in Clark's Beach, Newfoundland. And what are we doing?
Actually, we're going to be making some pork medallions with a cider sauce, and our guest chef is Matt McCrowe from the Aqua.
Stay tuned. For a complete listing of One Chef One Critic recipes, wine lists, and more, check out our website. Let us know what you think of the show at 757-9600 or send us an email at onechef.onecritic@rci.roger. Our guest today comes from Leicestershire, England originally. He's lived here since 1998. He is a visual artist. Working mainly with digital images. He does very interesting things with those digital images. For example, he will take an image and he will manipulate it, put it out of context, and make us look at things in a bit of a different way. He also does something called Kinetic portraits, and back in around 2004, he did a series of Kinetic portraits on prominent Newfoundlanders. He followed that with Kinetic portraits of prominent Canadian writers. He's based in Clark's Beach, Newfoundland. Recently, he had a big exhibition in Toronto, which went over very, very well indeed. And he's also dabbled a little bit in this medium, television. In the United Kingdom, he was the co-star of a series called Dom Jolly's Happy Hour. Very interesting title, isn't it? We should talk to him about that. Anyway, we're very happy to welcome Peter Wilkins to our show. Nice to have you with us, Peter.
It's very nice to be here, and thanks very much for having me.
Yeah. Now, Stephen, what are we going to be making with
Well, what we're going to be
Peter
making today, Peter, we're going to be making some medallions of pork with an apple cider sauce. I know you're a bit of a scrumpy man yourself. From
Well, I am
south.
the real cider.
The real cider.
But this is pretend, soft drink cider.
It is, just a little bit. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get the pork medallion here. I'm going to cut it into 6 portions. Then I'm going to lightly pound it, and we're going to saute it in a frying pan there. So,
Peter, how did you end up in Newfoundland?
My wife.
Ah, okay.
I met her in a bar in Prague.
Prague?
Yeah, in the Czech Republic. And it was a bar, so we were having a glass of beer. And I think we quite fancied each other. And we got
Hopefully.
chatting. Yes, and we've had 4 children. Who've
Oh,
been
wonderful.
here for
Yeah.
12 years.
Yeah. Excellent.
And yes.
Yeah.
It's wonderful, and that's
Yeah.
why I'm here.
And you're in Clark's Beach.
I am.
So what was it like coming from, Europe to Clark's Beach, Newfoundland?
Well,
was
first
there any
off-
culture shock involved there?
Well, I had been here a couple of times with Michelle, and when we moved back from Prague, and then we lived in London for a while and had children. And London is, as you know, a very big city.
Yes, of course.
And it's not necessarily ideal for small children. And Michelle really wanted to come back, and St John's, was a really fun, or is a really fun and exciting city.
Yeah.
And so it seemed a great idea to live there for a while, and so we lived there, and that was great and wonderful. And then we had more children, and Michelle grew up in Clark's Beach, and so we thought it would be great to live out there. And so we've been there ever since.
Yeah.
It's absolutely wonderful.
And with the type of work you do, I guess you can be based in a place like Clark's Beach.
I can.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, no, I'm very lucky. Am I doing something now?
Okay, right now. Okay, we've got the tongs there now, and I've seasoned them on one side. We'll now season them on the other side.
Okay. And what do you season? Just your
Salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper. No other seasoning.
No other seasoning at all, because we're going to be putting a little bit of dried mustard in there, we're going to be putting a little bit of cider, and we're going to be flambeing that with a little bit of schnapps.
Oh, I like a flambe.
So, Karl, if I can get you to put the asparagus tips in there, and we're also going to be making a little bit of an apple sauce. You can melt some butter with a little bit of brown sugar and some cider.
So
I'll turn this board over, and I'm going to cut the apples up there as well.
I'll
so.
tip in the tips.
Tip in the tips, and we're going to steam
we
them
go.
lightly.
Okay.
And this is just going to take just a couple of minutes, and then we'll flip
Okay.
them over. I'm going to turn them up just a tad there.
It's quite fun inspecting and not having to do a great deal, but looking as if I could.
Peter, I suspect that you're someone who has eclectic interests. What other things are you interested in besides your art? And
Well, I do love. Art obviously is a major interest, and anywhere you visit in the world, there's always art to see, which is wonderful. The other thing I do quite enjoy, so I'm very happy to be here, is food
yes,
and eating
yeah,
and drinking
Yes.
as well, because
Yeah.
if you eat, you should have a glass of water or
Yeah.
perhaps wine
That's right.
or something else.
Now, didn't you actually do a piece of art that was based on the colours in wine?
I did. Yes.
Tell
And
us
it
a
was-
little bit about it.
Well, it was a great excuse away from quite a lot of wine to start with. But I suppose I should be a bit more professional. In that wine has very different colours. So you can have a heavy dark red like a Shiraz, which is much darker, compared to, say, a Beaujolais, which is very light
That's right.
in colour. And I didn't think people appreciated the varied colours of wine. So I photographed them at sort of 45-degree angles in a glass, like that, and then it would sort of slip in like that, so you could see it was almost transparent up here, and then it get darker and darker. But every wine was a very different colour. So when you contrast them, it's quite amazing.
Yeah.
So, and I made them into abstract, into stripes, so they look like abstract sort of colour-filled paintings.
Right.
But they were actually photographs of the changing colour of wine.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So tell me about your kinetic portraits, because that's something different altogether.
Yeah, the portraits, instead of being a single photograph, which is a sort of single instant, a
Static.
decisive moment of somebody's life, the portrait is about 6,000 photographs, because it's in real time over about 5 minutes. And I've met the person, I talk to them about their life and ask them a range of questions.
Yeah.
And they will tell that. Mostly they'll give me the gory details. Sometimes they don't want to know all the details. They'll then sit down in front of the camera and I ask them to think about these key moments of their life. So hopefully as they're sitting in front of the camera, they are considering the moment they went scrumping and stole some apples from somebody's orchard and got caught at the age of 5, one of their great successes, perhaps some of the hard times. So you get a sense of the real person, you can be happy,
It's really interesting.
sad, and they're framed on the wall like normal portraits, so you think it's a still portrait,
That's right.
but it moves.
Yeah.
So I'll get you to flip them over now,
Ooh,
Peter.
okay. Can I just choose which one?
Well, I'll turn them all over, that's good.
Okay.
That's perfect.
Oh, I'm not used to sponge. I normally use a spatula.
Oh, there we go.
Did I look quite professional?
You look very professional there.
Thank
So
you
what I'm
very
going
much.
to do, I've got some apple schnapps here, some local apple schnapps.
So I step back now, or do
Should be
I?
all right. I'm just going to pour a little bit of that on there, like so. And with any luck, we're going to get some flame there. That's perfect.
Very nice.
We'll burn that off a little bit there now.
See, normally when I pour schnapps and something like that, it goes whoosh.
But you know what you've done? I always put my thumb over the top of the bottle there, pour it in slowly so you can control it. And
That's
then-
why you've got the jacket.
Well,
and I
that's it.
haven't. Yeah.
So that's burning a little bit of the alcohol up there now. And I'll also add a little bit of our apple cider.
Gosh, that looks very good now.
Yeah.
It's making me rather hungry.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's perfect. So we're going to be serving that with asparagus tips on the bottom, then will be our pork, then we've got our apple compote to go on the top of that as
lovely.
well. So it's going to be quite
So are we
nice.
going to add any cream or anything to this?
Going to reduce that right down, so it's just going to be a nice glaze to it.
Oh,
actually.
okay.
Yeah. We're going to
So
add a little bit of
the
mustard.
applesauce, I guess.
It's going to be over the top.
Yeah. Okay, great.
He's always thinking about more food.
Yes,
Well,
that's
it's a very good thing.
I was thinking about putting some more butter in here.
Okay, please do.
Yeah, I put all the butter in. You
Yeah.
know what? Even doubt, put twice as much butter
That's
in.
right,
I think it's a
exactly.
good
What about a
mantra.
little bit of sugar?
Yes.
Did you put any brown sugar in there?
Yes,
Carl?
and if you don't have butter, use cream or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, how much of this do you want me to
Just
put
about
in?
half of it. That's
Yes,
fine.
okay.
That's good. Now we can get
Depending
all
on
that
what type
mixed
of apple. The apple may
in.
be kind of...
a little tart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me about Dom Jolly's Happy Hour, that TV series you did years ago.
Well, that was an amazing lark. It was Dom and I did one show for a British television company where he had to take a good friend of his on a childhood adventure, and we went around to Syria and Lebanon.
Oh,
and that
really?
went really well, and we had a fantastic time.
Yeah?
And they thought we were quite good together.
Uh-huh.
And so they wanted to give us a TV show. And Don, being the professional, was in at the meeting. And they said, Don, what do you and Pete really like doing? And Don, as a joke, well, not as a joke, but as a half joke, said, drinking. And so they went, oh, good one. And then actually they said, what about you two go around the world seeing how other cultures drink?
Yes. Good idea.
And Tom said, yes, absolutely. I'm sure Peter will say yes. And funny enough, I did. And so we got to travel the world investigating how other cultures drink.
Yeah.
With very little persuasion.
Yeah, very little persuasion.
Yeah.
And so most of it was quite good drink, but we did have some nasty things.
Oh, like what?
Pulque in Mexico, which is some weird sort of offshoot of cactus. And it was
Oh, my God.
It wasn't very nice.
Yeah.
We had in Russia, and I can't remember what it was called, but it was their own sort of homemade moonshine that was something like 140% proof, quite easy to drink, but it made vodka look like soft drink.
Yeah. Pop.
Yeah, it was quite fun. And then in the States we
So
had...
now how did that affect you the next day, drinking that?
Funny enough, I was fine. I was really impressed. I went out drinking with the crew afterwards. Whereas
That's the British spirit.
Exactly. But I don't know what happened to Dom. We travelled with a large lion in Russia, a stuffed lion.
Oh, okay.
And Dom got quite friendly with the stuffed lion and ended up in the hotel room with the lion.
With the stuffed lion?
With the and he couldn't.
Yeah.
He was a bit quiet the next day.
And did that end up in the television series, the scene with the stuffed lion? Or?
Well, with him becoming quite friendly with the stuffed lion, yes.
Oh, really?
But what the lion had done did in the hotel room, I don't know.
Perfect.
Anyway, I'm going to nip down to the cellar and we'll come up with a wine to go with this lovely
excellent.
pork dish.
Sounds
Okay?
good.
Carry
Right.
on.
So while Carl's down there, we'll just let the pork reduce down a little bit more, so because we want it to be rosé type of thing with the meat itself.
Fantastic.
Yeah, there you
That's
go.
very good. It's easy cooking like this.
Hi, Tracy.
Hey, Karl.
How are things at the Beverage Baron?
Very busy.
Good.
All good.
We have a friend of yours upstairs, Peter
Peter.
Wilkins. Peter Wilkins, the artist.
He did a fabulous picture for me
Yeah?
of the 6 red wines.
Oh, right. Yes.
Beautiful
yeah.
picture.
Yeah. We were chatting about that a while back. So we have pork tenderloin, very nice tender, but it's with loads of butter and apples.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Well,
Kind of pork and applesauce, I guess.
Perfect. Well, the wines that I chose for you guys today to pick from, we have the Santa Cristina from the Antinori Winery in Tuscany, and this retails for about $14.61. Then we have a Canadian wine from BC, and this is the Prospect Winery. It's the Haynes Barn Merlot Cab, and this is $18.99, Karl. And the last wine is a bit of tongue-in-cheek name. It's called Ménage à Trois.
I beg your pardon?
I know, it's a bit risque, but it's just basically, it's a tongue-in-cheek name for, it's a blend of 3 grapes. It's a Zinfandel Merlot Cabernet blend, and this retails for about $20.98.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's a great wine. It's a really nice fruit-forward wine, for sure.
Okie dokie. Well,
I think, my opinion, I think you should try the Santa Cristina with the pork dish. The Sangiovese grape, I think, would work really well with that dish that Peter's preparing for you guys.
and it's from Tuscany. Hey, you can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong. No, absolutely. I think it'll go well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks so much.
My pleasure. Enjoy
Okay.
your meal.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, now we've plated our asparagus tips and our medallions of pork, our apple cider sauce. Let's put a few of these glazed apples on the top, like so, nicely presented. And let's go and see Karl and Peter at the table.
Well, this looks almost too pretty to eat.
It does, doesn't it?
Cider all the way.
Yes, and I can smell that apple.
Yes, absolutely.
Lovely. Now, we have a nice wine to go with this. This is a Sangiovese from Tuscany. And I'm told it should be just, hefty enough to really make a good pairing with this pork. And I hope it does. Now, Peter, have a taste and let us know what you think.
Okay.
The
pressure's on.
It smells great. Lovely, lovely, lovely.
Looks very good.
Done very well. It was the flambeing you did, you see. So.
Oh, the flambe.
No, I think
Yeah,
it was all
yeah,
the preparatory work you did. I think that's excellent. And the apples,
Yeah.
I think the apples are absolutely essential
To go with it.
to go with it, because they just sort of
Apple and
moisten
pork.
the bit of pork. Yeah, I
Apple
know.
and pork.
It's old school, but you can't beat old school.
No.
Actually, there are some farmers now. Everybody's into organic farming and being very careful to make sure that animals are looked after from birth right up until they're slaughtered. But there's a farmer now who's feeding his pigs apples.
Really?
Yes, and that's all he feeds the pigs is apples. So when you eat the pork, it's almost like you've got built-in applesauce, which you can taste.
Absolutely ideal.
Yeah, it tastes. You can
Perhaps
taste
give them a glass of red wine as well.
Yes, why not? But it makes sense to me. I love the idea. Where did you teach yourself how to cook, or?
Yes, but my mother always cooked a lot.
She was a
We
good
had a lot
cook,
of dinner
yeah.
parties, so I sort of learned quite a lot from her. And yes, just going around seeing things, and also through greed.
Yes.
Because I'd eat things which were wonderful, then I'd wonder if I could possibly do it.
Yeah.
And I'd never do it quite as well, but trying is what counts.
That's right. Yeah. And I was going to ask you as well. What's your take on Newfoundland cuisine? I mean, you must have had Jig's dinner and seal and rabbit and moose and.
I think seal's very good. I don't always like flipper pie, but just a little bit of seal. I had smoked seal once, which was absolutely delicious.
Smoked seal.
But a lot of people don't really like it. But I thought that's particularly good. Moose, I think, is the most fantastic thing ever.
Yeah.
And I can't. Beef stew, I find a bit dull. I much prefer moose stew.
Yeah.
I think it's really good. And rabbit is just glorious.
Yeah, no, it's that slightly gamey taste that I love. Yeah, it makes it much more interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, Peter, look, thank you so much for being on the program today.
Well, thank you very
We've
much
had a
for
great
having
time
me.
chatting
Thank you
with
so much. It's wonderful.
Okay.
What a lovely treat.
Peter Wilkins, folks, and good luck to you and all your endeavors with your art. Coming up next on One Chef One Critic, we'll be with Chef Mark McCrowe of Aqua, and he's going to be whipping up something equally good. Stay tuned. Kitchen and Bar is a restaurant located on Water Street in the heart of downtown St. John's, and for years it's been known for its creative dining. They also believe in being local and sustainable and providing good food and drink at affordable prices, and the service ain't bad there either, and neither's the chef. That's Mark McCrowe, who's with us now. Great to have you with us, Mark.
Thanks for having me.
So,
Mark, what are we going to be doing today?
I'm
I
gonna
see. I think there's going to be a little Asian food.
Yeah,
I see a
definitely,
buffet
yeah.
of colours there and some tuna. Tell me.
Yep, I got some fresh sushi grade tuna here. So I'm going to do a little sesame crust. I'm going to pan sear it lightly just to sear in the sesames, and I'm going to do a little chilled noodle salad with all sorts of little bits and pieces there.
Perfect.
Toss that together.
Let's get started then.
All right,
Let's get
so we
going.
got our nice little tuna here. I got some soy sauce and wasabi. I'm just going to roll it in that. So just so the sesames I have here stick to it.
You can really smell that wasabi.
Yeah, it's
as
really-
well,
That's
eh?
for sure.
Really
Right over
fragrant.
there as well.
So in the meantime, I got some sesame oil here. I'm going to put in this pan.
Okay.
Get that going. Also really,
Yeah, you really
smelly.
smell that sesame coming through.
Nice.
So I'll get that in there and just let that seal in a little bit. Maybe I'll turn the heat up just a touch.
Very good.
All right.
Really hot.
All right, so in the meantime, I'm going to just toss together a little bit of chilled noodle salad.
Okay.
So I've got some, just some Asian, I think they're just some Chinese noodles. I just parboiled and just tossed in a little bit of sesame oil earlier. And I've got a mango chili vinaigrette here that I just whipped up with some mangoes, sesame oil, some chili. So I'm going to toss in some julienne red peppers. I prepped up beforehand.
Got great knife skills,
Yeah,
Mark.
thank you.
Is this really high now, Mark?
It should. I'll go put it up a little bit higher there.
Yeah.
it's not really searing there, but it don't really need to
expected.
sear in too much because if it gets too hot, it's going to pop all over the place.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. And then I'll be in all a mess.
Yeah. So I'll put some carrots, some peppers. It's a good dish to do at home. It's really once you get all the ingredients together, you can whip it up pretty quickly.
Yeah, yeah.
And what's that you just did?
This is some julienne green onion. I got
Okay,
some
nice,
carrots, some
nice,
peppers.
yeah.
I got some julienne cucumber here.
Boy, you
And
got it all.
julienne meaning very fine
yeah,
strips.
a fine
of
slice.
strips,
Yeah. So pop all this stuff in.
Yep.
I think it's going to need a little bit more dressing if you want it to be nice and seasoned up.
And that's the mango dressing?
Yeah, mango, a little bit of cilantro, a little bit of oil, some rice vinegar, all your sort of Asian condiments.
Very piquant.
Yeah. So I'll just give this a little bit of a toss together here at my hands.
Yeah.
And he does have very clean hands, folks.
Yes, indeed.
But you
It's
shouldn't,
very, very colourful.
you
Like
shouldn't
say, it's
worry
been
when
Yeah.
you're cooking about getting your hands into things because that's
You gotta definitely wash
these
your
are
hands,
these are
but,
the best tools you have in the kitchen.
Most definitely, yeah.
As long as your hands are clean, that's perfectly okay.
So I got that tossed together. In the meantime, I'm just going to have a little look at the tuna here. Probably just flip it over. I don't really want to cook it too heavy, but maybe a little bit better.
Yeah, it's coming on quite nicely, actually.
This is a dish that we've been doing lately down at the restaurant. So
Yeah. And I understand that you change your menu quite regularly, do you?
yeah,
Or,
probably 3 to 4 times a year.
Yes, you do it seasonally,
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
And we've got all sorts of different specials we tinker with in the meantime.
Yeah.
So
Now, Mark, I know you referred to that as sushi grade tuna.
yeah,
Where would the average homemaker find sushi grade tuna?
you could find it sometimes in the grocery store, like Sobeys or Dominion.
And will
I
it
got
say,
this-
will
I
it
got
say
this,
on the label sushi grade?
You'd
or
have
do
to
you-
talk to your fish supplier
Okay,
and
yeah.
make sure you get it.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty much
There, isn't it?
good for me. Yeah. I like it nice and rare.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
So I'll just let that rest for a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, so we dress this onto
Yeah,
the plate
the salad is all dressed.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to put a little mound of that right in the middle of the plate there.
The smell
Nice
is
little-
absolutely...
Tight presentation there.
Yep.
And so then I'm going to just make sure I got a really sharp chef's knife.
Yeah. And I see you got a good Japanese knife there as well.
Yeah, they're really good. So I'll just cut some nice pieces of the tuna there. And
Yep,
it looks nice.
Beautiful. It's all very colorful, isn't it?
I think we're only going to need 3 for this presentation.
Yeah,
we'll
excellent.
eat that later. So I'll just pop the tuna on top.
Onto the salad. Yep.
And
Well, that's my tuna grade, that's for sure. Yeah.
I got a few little garnishes here just to finish it off, make it a little bit fresher. These are just some pea sprouts I got at the organic farm here.
Yeah.
I'll put those right on top. I've got some nori sheets that I just chopped up, the same thing you do to roll up your sushi.
Yep.
So I'll just sprinkle a couple of those on top like that.
Perfect.
Nice.
I got a little bit of pickled ginger that you just pick up at any sort of Asian market.
Okay.
I'll just pop that up there too. Oh,
Perfect.
and
Beautiful.
I have
Absolutely
some lotus root chips. My brother
Oh.
sent these in from Vancouver.
Oh, I was wondering what they were.
Yeah, they're just fried up nice and crispy.
They look
so I'll put
nice.
probably
Yeah,
three
again-
of those around.
Presentation is everything. Especially
And-
when you're serving a Japanese
I'm
style
gonna
dish,
turn this pan off.
Try.
Oh, yes. Well,
I was just
no,
going to put a
after
little,
you.
Okay.
a little bit of vinaigrette around the plate here. just for
Perfect.
extra presentation.
I'm going to be greedy.
Okay, I'm going to try these noodles just to see how they taste. Oh, here we go. Typical situation to get
Yeah.
get yourself into on television.
Good?
Very good. Perfect.
Really good.
Thanks for being with us, Mark.
Thanks for having me. My pleasure.
And folks, that's it for this edition of
One Chef.
One Critic. That was great.